What we had explained in our previous lesson was that portfolio rebalancing is trying to steer the portfolio towards the initial intended allocation weights. Because of movements and because the markets are not static, it means that the allocations might actually change, and because of changes in political, economic, socio-cultural, technological factors, amongst other factors there. So we need to try as much as possible to steer the portfolio back to the initial allocation weights as specified in the investment policy statement, or IPS. We are going to learn about rebalancing disciplines, calendar rebalancing, and number 2, percentage of portfolio rebalancing. So we are saying that the rebalancing disciplines refers to a strategy for rebalancing, and we're saying that the rebalancing disciplines are 2 of them. Number 1 is calendar rebalancing, and number 2 is percentage of portfolio rebalancing. So number 1, calendar rebalancing. What is this element or this item called calendar rebalancing, or subtopic? We can say the following, that it involves, so we're saying that calendar rebalancing involves rebalancing a portfolio to target weights. The keyword there is target weights on a periodic basis. For example, annually, quarterly, or monthly. The choice of rebalancing, we can continue. We're saying that the choice of rebalancing frequently is linked to the schedule of portfolio reviews, or how often the portfolio is going to be reviewed, specified by the investment committee. And of course, the investment committee is driven by an investment charter. The investment charter is one that specifies the caliber of individuals who actually constitute the investment committee itself, right there. And once we have learned about calendar rebalancing, we can move on and learn about the second type of rebalancing, which we're saying is called percentage of portfolio rebalancing. Stated as a percentage, we're saying it involves setting rebalancing thresholds or trigger points stated as a percentage there. And this percentage is based on the portfolio value. It is based on the portfolio's value. It is based on the portfolio's value there. So we are saying that percentage of portfolio rebalancing requires us that if the portfolio actually contracts by a given percentage, then that should be able to reconstitute or constitute to rebalancing right over there. And we can give an example on this percentage of portfolio rebalancing and say that if the target portfolio asset class weights on this other side, if the target portfolio weight, say for the percentage of portfolio rebalancing is 40%, and it should be 40% of the portfolio value, 40% of the portfolio value. And so we are saying that then we can be able to set up trigger points thereon. And we are saying that trigger points could be set at either 35% or maybe 45%. So 40% of the portfolio value, then trigger points can be set at 35% and 45% right there. What are we saying? We are saying that this is the portfolio itself over here. This is 40. This is the required allocation, say for equities or for fixed income, whichever. Meaning that in our portfolio right here, our allocation for equities should be 40% of the overall value. So If it's 1 million, we are saying 400,000 should actually be allocated to what? To equities. So 40%, but if this contracts to 35%, then it should actually red flag, or a trigger should actually come off. I'm trying to warn the portfolio manager that we are reducing the portfolio value below our threshold or our threshold point. There. So 35% on this other fine, and this other fine can be 45, like that. So if the portfolio value, the allocation of equities, increases to maybe that level, and that level is maybe 46%, then that should constitute rebalancing immediately, like that. So that is what we're saying, that the trigger points can be set plus minus in any direction. So plus minus 40%, we can be able to allow that to be within the range, or the acceptable range. Having said that, we can continue and say, or elaborate more by saying that the percentage, so we're saying that the percentage of portfolio rebalancing requires monitoring of portfolio values at an agreed upon frequency, quarterly, monthly, and so on and so forth, in order to identify instances in which trigger points are breached. So literature suggests that there are 5 factors that should play a role in setting of optimal corridors. How do we set the optimal corridor of, say, plus minus 5% or plus minus 10%?